Hey, Crazy Will here today. Today we're going to be talking about how to slice your 3D objects so they'll fit on your 3D printer. Stay tuned and I'll show you how I sliced this so it would work on my Elegoo Mars. Hey, Crazy Will from Crazy Will's Tech Show. Today, I'm going to show you how to print large objects that are not sliced up so you can print them. Not Darth Vader's lightsaber as you see here. This actually came in a lot of pieces and I'll leave a link down below. It's a Darth Vader remix lightsaber which I printed out and it was in pieces so it could work. This one, on the other hand, the stand that I really wanted for Darth Vader's lightsaber to put on my coffee table, and I'll show you a picture out right here, was too big. This base was too big. They did make it so the arm was cut off and that you could print the base with the arm, but this base was still too big. We all have different types of 3D printers and they usually work with STL files. So I'm going to show you today how you could take these STL files, import them into another program and slice them up. So that way they will fit for your 3D printer. Let's go over to the computer. I'll show you how I did it with a free piece of software called Blender, and I'll show you how I slice this up and export them out so that way I can put this together and paint it and make my little 3D print. Okay, so first things first. You want to get the STL file, which I'll leave the link in the description down below if you want to follow along with this or if you just actually want this model. And you can see he has the full model, the piece, and the other piece. The next thing we'll do is open up Cheeto Box. So we'll open up the file and you get the individual files. So if we grab the big display file, it's not gonna fit. I mean, it's just, there's no ifs, ands, or ways about this. It's not gonna fit. And you know, so you think, okay, let me go back to the file. Okay, that fits. That doesn't really fit. You know, you can possibly get it to fit this way. If you hold down the slice key right here, you can see it's really close to the top. And I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed with my Elegoo, there's only so many layers I can go. I never play with anything close to the edge. And then once you put supports in, I mean, you're right up to that edge, and I've never had any luck. Stuff usually stops right around here. I just wouldn't do it. The next thing we'll do is we'll go over to blender.org. This is a free software. It's called Blender, and I already have it installed in my computer. It's an amazing software. I've been using this on and off for, oh my God, since like, I think 2002, off and on. But you don't need to know the software inside and out. You need to know the basic stuff. So if you open it up, we'll do a regular general, and you get a light, which we don't need, so you could delete it, and you get a camera and you don't need it, which doesn't matter. You don't need to mess with these at all. What we want to do is we want to go to File, Import, STL. Go to your downloads, where you have the file. I have it in downloads, lower display stand. Import that, and now you'll see it's huge. I just want to show you guys how to navigate. Now, there's two ways. I'm on a Mac, so navigating on a Mac, you just grab the mouse and move your finger along like this, and it actually moves around the 3D space. And if you hold down on Option, you could zoom out. Just to give you an idea of how to use the Apple mouse, which we're not going to use because I have a 3-button mouse that I'm going to take out right now. Most people are on PC, and they're going to be using a 3-button mouse, and I didn't think it was fair for me to explain this tutorial without showing you with a regular mouse. So I have my regular Logitech mouse here, and if we have a 3-button, it has to be a 3-button. We have the scroll wheel, which will zoom in and out. If you push down on that scroll wheel, you can pan around. So that's how you get around in this 3D space. We're going to use the 3-button mouse. Like I said, you just use the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You push down on the scroll wheel to spin around the object. So it's that simple. And if you need to move, if you don't have a 3-button mouse, I'm going to leave this link down below, and this shows you how to disable it in Blender if you don't have a 3-button mouse. So I figured that would help. I'm going to leave that down below. Just in case you don't, you can change the settings. And another thing you could do is if you really don't want to go through all that, you can use these buttons over here, and you could zoom in and out that way. You just click and drag on those. This is the hand tool pan, and then up over here is your actual 3-dimensional. If you click and drag on that, or you just click on the Z axis. And I say Z axis, I don't say Z. I can't stand that Z thing. And you can click on any axis like this, and you can move around. So like I said, this is not a tutorial for how to use Blender. I just want to show you how you can use Blender to actually slice this in half. What we're going to do from here, we want the front view, and you can go right here, and I'm going to show you this way because the hotkeys, it's not important. The hotkey would be 1 on your number pad. If you don't have a number pad, I'm just going to show you how I do it. Viewpoint, we're going to go to front view, and that's the front view of your object. So if you want to hit number 1, you can hit number 1, but this is the front view of your object. So here we have the object, and what we want to do is it won't fit, so we want to try and slice it. So what we're going to do is there was a box in there, a cube, and we're going to click on that cube, and we're going to hit S, and we're going to scale that sucker up. Tap it, hit S again, scale it up. Okay, so that's a little too big actually. We want to do it that big. All right, and we're going to click on this, and we're going to click on the move tool. Actually, you could hit G if you don't want to click on the move tool, but I'm just showing you because this is more visual to show you how to do things. So we'll click on the object and you can actually move it into place. So, but if you hit the G button, it'll follow your mouse. Like I said, I'm trying not to do a tutorial on Blender. I'm just trying to show you guys how to do that. So let's try and put this as close as we can to the middle. If you see that little blue line, that's the middle. So we're going to do that. We're going to put that right there. We're going to change the orientation of this cube. And how we do that is we're going to go into Object, Apply, All Transitions. So now it goes to the center of the whole space. So if you were to get out of there, that's the center of the whole universe. So let's say you want to use the number pad and you don't have a number pad, like I don't have a number pad here. So what we'll do is we'll go to Edit, Preferences, Input, and Emulate Number Keypad. We'll click on that. And this is also where you could emulate a 3-button mouse and you could use the Alt key. This is also how you could set it up. So if you don't have a 3-button mouse, you enable this, and then when you hold down the Alt key and press the mouse button, you'll be able to use it that way. So we'll exit out of that. So now when I hit the number pad 1, it'll go to the front view. If I hit 3, it'll go to the side view, which we definitely need to move this cube over. Well, actually we need to size it again. So we're going to use this size right here, the scale tool, and we're going to just bring it out like this and bring it up like that. It doesn't matter what that cube is, just as long as it's covering everything in the scene. And if you hold down on Shift and you push down on the middle mouse button, you'll be able to pan. And if you don't know what that, the hand tool almost, that's what this does. It's the same thing as if you clicked on this. So you're just holding Shift and you can zoom in and get it in the position you want. So I hope I'm not confusing you guys. Okay, so we have that slice down the middle, it looks like, and we set the orientation to the middle. Now we'll go into this right here. It's a little wrench, and it's where we add modifiers. So we're gonna add a mirror, and we're gonna mirror that. The reason why I'm doing this is because if you notice, there's a gap, and we don't want a gap there. So we're gonna click on the original cube. It's actually mirroring it to the other side, and now that's why we changed the center point. So now if we go to Edit mode right here, and we go into the cube, we go to 1. We're going to turn this on right here. It's a toggle X-ray. It's so we can select points that are behind other points. So we're going to turn that on, and we're going to go to the selection tool right here, and we're going to click off to the side, and then we're going to select those points. And what we're going to do is turn on clipping on your mirror tool, and we're going to click on the move tool, and we just click on this, and if you see, it snaps right to the middle. And we want that because that way it'll close that gap. Okay, so now it's perfectly aligned to the middle. We don't have to worry about any gaps when we slice this because we're actually going to use the cube to slice this in half. So let's turn off the X-ray mode. Let's deselect so you don't have that selected anymore. Let's go back into object mode. Now if we rotate, it looks like there's just a box. So we'll go back over to the modifiers right here. Remove the mirror because we don't need the mirror. We just want to do 1/2 at a time. Now we have this kind of going on. This is perfectly in the middle. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the actual object, and we're going to add a Boolean. Select that right there. We're going to select on the teardrop here, and we're going to select the cube object. Once we select the cube object, right now it's at define. So now if you hide the cube, if we go up here and that's the cube, and we hide the cube, ta-da, we cut it in half. So there you go. You have your half right there. So that's one half. We could export this out just like this. Use this as a piece to print right off the bat. If you want to print it like that, that's all right. I'm going to take it one step further, and I want to put a connection piece, a piece that will actually make it connect, like, you know, positive and a negative, so that way they'll align perfect. And this is what I did for mine. Like I said, you could stop right here and you could print it off just like that, but I want to go the extra step. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to go to add, and we're going to go to mesh, and you could do a cube again. I'm going to do a cylinder, and it appears right in the middle there, and we're going to go to the S key again, size, and we're going to scale it up just a little bit. I'm going to click on the size tool right here, and I'm going to expand it, extrude it out a little bit longer. So now we have like a cylinder going on there. And now I'm going to hit 3 on my number pad, and we're on the side view. And what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it. To make it easier, we're just going to rotate it 90 degrees. If you look right over here, there's a little tab sticking out. We're going to click on that, and it'll open up. And if you can't click on it, you could just hit N, and it appears and disappears. So this gives you all the transforms of this actual cylinder. And make sure you got it selected. And we're going to rotate it in Y. And we're going to put it at 90. And it should be looking at you right there. Now we could click on the move tool like this, or we could just click the G button, and now it'll follow your cursor wherever you go. So let's put it, we'll put one here, and we're going to hit Control D, and we're going to move it over here. So we have 2 little cylinders, if you rotate it now, sticking out. So that's the positive side of the key. And what we're going to do to make this work, we're going to click on the base, and we're going to add another Boolean. Okay, and then this time we're going to arrow this right here. And instead of define, we're going to put union. And now if we hide the cylinder, you'll see that it's one piece now. And then we'll do another Boolean on this. Add modifier, Boolean. And you click on this and click on union. And we'll hide cylinder 1. So now it's one piece, and this is what we're going to export. So now we'll go to File, Export, STL. And we're going to do selected only. And we're going to save it. For now, for me, I'm going to put it on the desktop, export. Now if we go over to my desktop, you'll see I have an STL that is ready to go. So we can open up Box, and we'll open up the untitled, which I just left it untitled, but you guys probably should name the stuff. That would be a good idea. That we can rotate it to fit on the actual build plate. And that's how I printed mine. I actually put it at this angle so I could print it. So now we got to make the opposite side of this that'll fit into this. So we'll minimize this. So we made the one side, now we're going to make the other side. Really simple. We're going to do everything in reverse. So what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of all the Booleans here. Okay, those are all gone. And now we're going to work on this half. So we'll bring back the cube so we can see that. So we're going to select the cube. And again, if you don't have this here, just hit N. It'll open up. We'll go in the x-axis and we'll leave it at 1, but we're going to put it -1. And that's going to reverse it to the other side. And now what we'll do is we'll select the actual stand in your modifiers tab right here. Go to Boolean again. Click on that, and we'll click on the cube again. And now if we hide the cube, we got the other side. And what we'll do is we'll bring those cylinders back. And if you notice, they're in the middle. They're set perfectly where the other one is. So we're not going to move anything or touch anything because we want to kind of keep this the same. But now we need this to be negative. So we're going to add another Boolean. And if you want, you can actually select these and make these a little bit bigger. For this demonstration, I'm not going to do that, but you could scale them up just a little bit bigger and experiment what size. I forget what size that I made them. I did make them a little bit bigger, but for demonstration purposes and keeping this video short, I'm just going to go ahead and do a negative this way. It just involves a little bit more sanding to get them to fit. So we'll select this. We'll add a Boolean. And we'll click on the first cylinder. You leave it at the default settings, and there you go. It has the indent. So now we'll click on this again, add another Boolean, and we'll click on the other cylinder. And you leave the settings the same, and we'll just hide it. So now we have the negative part of this, and we can File, Export, STL, select it only. I'm just going to plus this to 1, and then export. STL. Give it a second. Now if we open up Box, File Open, untitled 1, which obviously you would title them, you have the other side. So now you can see they would fit perfectly with one another. And you can rotate this one and print it separately. So we would get rid of this one, and you'd set this up one for at a certain angle, put your supports in, you're good to go, and it'll fit on that bed. So there you go, guys. That was a quick tutorial. I hope it was quick. I know I threw a lot at you guys with this blender. It's a very intuitive program, really great program. Coming from my background, I worked with Maya for years. I went to school for it, learning Blender. It's gotten really intuitive. I've actually modeled a 3D head of the Rocketeer, which you could see on My Mini Factory, which I'll leave a link down below. Download it, print it, have fun with it, guys. But I just thought this would be a quick and easy way for you guys to be able to slice up some of these STL files that you're getting that you know, there's so many things I wanted to print, like this Wolverine I'm working on right now. I mean, I'm printing him, he's really big, and I didn't have to cut any of this, but his base, if I want his base, this is a great option to slice up his base and print it out and make it for this figure. I just thought it would be really good advice for anybody that was seeing STL files, whether they have an Elegoo Mars or an FDM printer that's printing small, to make STL files that you can actually cut up and print and get them to work. You know, there is a downside to this, filling in that crack if you don't print it perfectly. Like, I should have tried to angle it differently so it would print better. I showed you how I printed it where it was downward. I probably should have flipped it the other way. It's just, there's a lot of techniques that you could do to try to get things to print better. I've learned with the Elegoo Mars, trying to print square objects can sometimes be a challenge. So that was on me, but I did have to fill it in. I used Bondo, just to give a quick tip on that. I haven't tried other stuff. Some people said that you should use epoxy sculpt to fill in the gap. Even though I had to fill in the gap, I think it worked out pretty well. You could see, I mean, if you look at it at certain angles, you could see it, but really, you know, on display, no one can tell the difference. And this, like I said, and I'll leave pictures of what it looked like as I was putting it together, but this was cut down the middle. And I'm sure if you put it in a certain light, you could see where the cut is. I should have did a little bit of a better job, but it worked. And this is a large printed piece, a stand. So that's it for me, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe if this helped you in any way, and ring that bell. That's also greatly appreciated so you can see more videos like this. And remember, you can do anything if you put your mind to it. Later, guys!
Don't know the power of the dark side.
You're still here? You haven't clicked on all these videos that I made? Or better yet, like button? Or even better, subscribe button? Just putting it out there.